understanding, and that is what everybody says, that the exam is based on the process group. So no, I always tell the people, no, it is not the case. Exam result is based on the process groups. Okay, and the number of questions they are devised, that 24 will come as part of the initiation. So the 14 question will come as part of the initiation. So if the 14 will come part of the initiation, it actually means only 2 processes. So the 2 processes will take the 14 questions. So saying the exam is based on the process group, it is completely different. Statement is right technically, because the exam content online, exam content outline is also written in that way. But if you go to the process, the knowledge areas, everything is divided like this. So let us go back one slide and let's start from this space. So the initiating is a place where you commit the organization. You are actually committing the organizational resources. You are committing the approvers. You are saying, yes, this idea makes sense, and then let's move forward on it. So next is this is where your role is defined. This is where the high level scope is done. This is where business tells you what are we looking at the end of the tunnel. And we all have seen that good example. I will share it also in the later stage. Then we go into the planning. So once I know that I have to launch the classes, I get into the planning, I write it, I send it to people, I plan it, the Zoom sessions, I make sure my presentations are updated, I made sure all these things, that's the planning. So it is about the, and PMI gives the major importance to this area. It says, if you don't plan, you are actually planning to fail. So it's a core processes. The planning processes are clear. They have, so core processes, they have the clear dependencies that require them to perform in essentially the same order. So these are planning processes, may be iterated several times in the process. Then in the same planning processes, we have some facilitating processes like interacting from other planning process groups, independent of the nature. So facilitation processes are performed intermittently and as needed during the project, like planning. But very important, whether you are doing facilitation processes or the core processes, they are not optional on the project. So the core processes, you have to identify the requirement, then you will get into a scoping, then you can go into the work breakdown structure, then you can go into the latest stage. There you have to identify the activity, then you have to sequence the activities. You cannot sequence the activities before identification of the activities. You cannot identify the duration because before knowing the people who are going to do it, because you can understand, and I'm sure you all are making a project, doing the projects, that if Mudassar is a junior resource and Mansoor is a senior resource, so Mansoor will have a higher cost and the delivery time will be smaller. So if you have a project budget, you might want to have a Mansoor on your project because he is being senior, your risk is lower, he will deliver the job earlier, you might have it. But if your project has a lower task which are less risky, low budget, you may ask, okay, we need Mudassar because he will have a less risk, he has more the task he is doing is a less risky, and if he fails, we have a cover up margin to do it. So we need to plan all these things as part of it. Then we go into the execution. We do whatever we plan, and then it's a monitoring and controlling. Project performances must be measured regularly to identify the variances in the plan. Variances are fed into the control processes. So we are the project managers. We do not react to the situations. We understand the trends, what is happening on the project. One of the examples that I can give you is that, yes, you know, your variance on the project is 5% and the project is 2 years in cycle. 1 to 2% is okay, 2 to 4% is yellow, and then 5% is absolutely no go-go. As a project manager, if you think from a common sense, till your project variance does not hit 4%, you might not need to react. but you are actually looking for the trend. In the fourth month, when you are actually in the second month, when you are 1%, in the fourth month when you are 2%, in the seventh month when you are 3%, the trend is clearly telling you that you are going to hit the 5% mark on the 12th month or the 14th month. So monitoring and controlling is about trend analysis. Monitoring and controlling is about the variance analysis. Monitoring is controlling about the corrective actions. Monitoring is controlling about making sure that we do not fail. We try to find the failures that could happen earlier. We try to mitigate the risk, but obviously we are human. We are bad at forecasting. We do not know what is going to happen tomorrow. So things will go wrong. That is inevitable. You cannot just say that everything will work for you. You can plan with all your experiences, and I am sure things you have been doing for years and years and years, 20 years, and you are going to office every day for last 7 years, but still, can you confirm that tomorrow morning you will take the same time to reach to the office? Why? Because we don't know what is going to happen, but we plan as our experiences are. And that is where monitoring and controlling plays a very vital role to make sure that we have the boundaries. And if something is going and touching the boundary again and again, we hit back it. And the closing is something there where we actually deliver the project. So in every initiating planning, we will do the purpose. Why are we doing this process group? What are the tasks that we need to do? That is part of the exam content outline. What are the processes from the 49 processes are part of this process group? What are the major input and outputs that you need to look into it? So this is the main question that everybody asks. What are the inputs and outputs at ITTO that I need to memorize? So my answer, do not memorize. There is no need of memorizing. Just understand some most important one. Just understand what are the important ones and how they are hopping from one process to another process, and that is more than enough. So, yes, Deep.
Mudassir, you said that we have a margin of like what, 2 to 3% of the variance.
I mean, that's an example for the. I mean, we have the.
What is the standard acceptable percentage to say that this project was successful?
No, it completely depends on the project charter.
Okay, I mean, apart from cost, do you think there are other factors which can determine?
Yes, time.
Time is again related to the cost also.
Yes, the changes of the requirements, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. All these things will definitely impact the variance. We will see into the, once we go into the variance analysis, the earned value management, will see how even the scope is impacting. If the second I say I need an inch, a wall inch larger or inch taller than what we have, it's a scope is changed, and that is, so that is where integration is coming in, and that is, we will see in the integration that small change, 1 inch change in the wall means risk, cost, scope, quality, resources, timelines, everything will hit. So this is what the 6 constraints that we are looking at: cost, quality, cost, scope, schedule, quality, risk, and the client expectation. So this is all what we are doing.
Okay, thanks.
So first one is initiating. Initiating is about why are we doing it. So we have integration in it, we have a stakeholder in it, 2 processes are part of it, 8 tasks are part of it. So if you can see, integration is part of all process group. So process group is the logical grouping of the project management in ITTOs. Initiating process group defines a new project. Planning process group establish the scope, objective, execution processes, complete the work that are designed as part of the planning. Monitoring, controlling, track, review, regulate, progress, looking for the performance, all this, and closing is what where we close. So integration is part of all the process groups. This is very clear from here. So you cannot, so that is why it is called integrate. Integration, initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, controlling under one umbrella. What is happening under it? It all comes to integration, and then you take the decisions in the integration. In terms of reading the book, the chapters like communication, resources, procurement, they are very easy, but and stakeholder, they are very easy. It will, I mean, you can see that you will quickly, even we will quickly pass through it in terms of reading it. But the examination questions for these are very difficult. How many of you are dealing with the procurement? Yes. So the questions will be challenging. How many of you are dealing with the human resource hiring? How many of you are dealing with the risk management?
Yeah.
So these are the areas which are not very common sense. You will see scope, cost, time. These are very common sense. You are doing it. Even if you are not doing it on your job, you are doing it at your home. You are doing it for yourself. So it is pretty common, I mean, in terms of understanding where we are heading. But the quality, if you are not dealing with the quality, you might face challenges. So let's move forward. Initiating process group. The goal of this phase is to define the project at a broad level by obtaining the authorization to start the project, begin the project, commit the resources, identify the the project manager. It's a first and foremost step that you should take on the projects because it defines the vision of the project. It tells you what is the goalpost that you are aiming for. It tells you what is which stadium you are going to play the football on. It tells you what is the size of the stadium that you need to play on. It tells you what is the expectation from you from this match. Is it that you need to win from 1-0? Is it that you need to win from 2-0? Is it that you need to draw the game? Everything is in charter. There is no, if you don't have the groundwork, then you have a problem in planning. You do not know how we are going to do it. So if I know that I have to win the game by 2-0, then I might play with the extra striker. So we need to do a foundation. It's a crucial for the building of anything, including successful project. Initiation creates a strong foundation upon which the other four process groups are built. Align the stakeholders' expectation. What are they expecting? Everybody wants a Mercedes in $30,000 or 100,000 Saudi Riyal. Give them the visibility. And the new, the agile way, the new way is the information radiator. Put the statuses like this in front of everybody. So anybody can see what is happening, why it is happening, where are you standing in the process. So I'm now implementing this in my life, that how my stuffs are moving for the projects and the stuff for different things. Show how their participation in the project is important, what they need to do, what they need to approve, what all this is part of the initiating process group. I always wanted to change this slide and it remains here. Initiating process group is when actually your project starts, supposed to tell what is the project case, and it takes all the guidelines from the business case. What are we going to do? Why are we even doing this project? What is the objective of this project? Everything is in the business case. That we will go into the detail of the business case. This process should answer questions like, what is this project going to do? What is the business case for doing it? Who wants it done? What is where the money is coming from? Who is going to manage the work and who is going to do the work? These are the tasks that you will be defining, doing, performing in this process group. There are only two processes in it. One is for develop project charter, which defines new project and phases. It gets a formal authorization of the project initiation. Yes, who is project manager? I'm sure you all know project manager is less than in terms of organization structure than CFO, HR director, quality director, but they listen to you. For why? Because you have that paper signed by the authority in the group, in the company, the sponsor, the owner, that he said that Mudassar is allowed to use the organizational resources because I, as the owner of the company, has committed that this project needs to be delivered. So I take this authority and use the resources of the organization. And the next one is identify stakeholder. We cannot deliver the project without knowing to whom we are going to deliver it, to whom we are going to work for, who is going to be impacted. So we need to keep analyzing, documenting relevant information regarding the expectations and the impact of the stakeholders. It has 3 deliverables, very important. Project charter as a documentation, we will go into the detail of it. Stakeholder register, which never ends. There are 3 live documents in the project: stakeholder register, requirement analysis register, requirement traceability matrix, and the risk register. They never die, they never stops. Every time they keep on doing it. And the key input is a business document. Business documents are 2. One is business charter, business case, and other is the benefit project management plan. The initiating process group consists of the processes necessary to define the new project. It involves obtaining the authorization of the project. It involves defining the objectives, outcomes, and success criteria. It most importantly, it assigns the project managers, it allocates the funds and resources. The inputs to the project charter is the document of decision. What is the document of decision? It's the business case. Contracts, project statement of work, organization culture, guidelines, policies, procedures. We need to know all these things. That is the only way we can move forward. It is normally written by the project sponsor, whoever initiated the project. You can write it, you can give the input in it, but you cannot sign it because there is one heading in the project charter which says who is the project manager, and their name comes in as Adil, as Dwayne, as Mansur, as Mudassir. So you cannot sign on your own authority paper, so somebody else will sign it for you. Project stakeholders are individuals and organizations that are actively involved in the project, whose interests may be affected as a result of the project execution or a project completion. They may also exert influence over the project objectives and the outcomes. So example of the project stakeholders are your customers, your user group, the other project managers, the project management team, the development team, the testers, the NGO, the governmental bodies. We will look into it once we go into the sphere of the project manager influence. The next is the planning process. It is where you define a smart and clear roadmap. What are we going to achieve, when, how, and what is the process? Smart, specific, measurable, attainable, reachable, and timed. All this is, you have to know where are you hitting. This is where you need to, because what you are defining as planning, somebody will execute it. So how you are going to say execution is happening, right? Until your whole process is smart in nature and clear roadmap. The point of planning is to create the project plan. The project plan will provides the leadership and direction of the project for execution and the control processes. It's a formal management approved document. Once it's approved, you can start work. Planning is iterative. You can never plan all your project in a way, because I mean, this is a question for you. Whenever you start a new project, how many times you have an understanding of the complete project on day one?
Very rarely.
And that is when the more you get into the project, the more you time spend on the project, the more you study the project, the more you get the knowledge of the project. And that is why it is a progressive elaboration that we are looking at in terms of the identification of the planning. The main purpose of this phase is to plan the time, cost, resource adequately, to estimate the work needed and to effectively manage it. Outline the strategy and tactics to successfully deliver the project, identify the risks that are not visible, and document how you are going to execute the other processes on the project. When it comes to task, it must be understood that as soon as the work begins, new factors will become apparent. Priorities will change, promised resources will not be materialized. Say if the planning process is not sufficiently flexible, on account of these things, then the project will fail, and that is called a resilience. We will look into the resilience once we go into the risk. So changes will happen. So if you don't have the flexibility, your project will break. The problem created by too little planning is obvious. There will be insufficient information to make the valid estimates of time and cost, and the project team may get the apparent lack of direction. On the other hand, paralysis by analysis is very common. I know people, I have worked with the people, they want too much analysis. So it's a balance that you need to do, that how much analysis is good enough to move forward. Yes, you have any question? Okay. So the project team may find the plans are simply unrealistic because they are based on unfounded assumptions. So we need to avoid all this. In order to successfully execute, which is the third process of the process group, you must first successfully plan. Most of what is accomplished by this phase by in taking the broader ideas established within the initiating stage, initiating process group. So there, what is the, why are we going for the football game? What do we need to do? How we are going to do? When it is going to happen? What is the timeline? What is the location? And then now we are planning who are the people, when they are going to deliver it, and all these things. That is the part of the planning. So we are dividing the statement win the game by 2-0. How? What is the strength of the other team? What are the risks that could happen? How many strikers? If we need to do this thing, what will happen? The project planning phase is often most challenging phase of the project manager. You need to make an educated guess of the staff, resources, equipment. In short, you need to create a comprehensive suite of project plan. There are 18 which set out a clear project roadmap ahead. As I told you, your planning process needs to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. If you don't have it, you have a problem. If you cannot testable, you cannot identify the time, then it means you don't know your process, how much is going. Your process growth needs to be clear. They need to be collaborative. So your team needs to, it should able to encourage your employees. It should able to encourage to work them together. They all take a buy-in. It should be limited in scope and time to keep it manageable. You cannot just keep your activities and planning open. It should be emotional. Goal should tap into the passion of the employees and be something they can form an emotional connection. They should be appreciative. Break larger goals into the appreciable. Break larger goal into the smaller tasks that can be quickly achieved. Smart and clear. And then most importantly is refinable. New situations will arise every day. Be flexible, refine goals as and when needed. So your planning process has to, that is why it's a continuous process. And if you remember that slide that we have, it is a very big process. So yes, initially you planned a lot, but then you will keep on looking what is happening and what is not happening. And this is where the planning process will keep on going till the end. The processes, 24 processes are here. Develop project management plan, scope management plan, collect requirement, scope, activities, estimate cost, identify risk. So these are all 24 out of 49 processes are part of this process group. Scope management define the scoping of the document, what needs to be done, what not needs to be done. Work breakdown structure tells you what is the big project is defined in the smaller structure. Schedule tell you when are you going to do it, how are you going to do it, whether you should do it or not, who are the people who will be doing it, sequencing the activities. A cost management plan will identify how the cost will be estimated, budgeted, managed, monitored, controlled. You will estimate the cost. You need to know your risk. You need to know your resources. You need to know your scope. Then obviously you will determine the budget. Money is not flowing in infinitely. So you need to know when it is coming in. Your salaries, you know you have a salary of 120,000, but can you plan 120,000 in January and February? No. There is a time when the money is coming in. You need to plan accordingly. That when can we do it? Plan quality management, estimate activity resources, risk identification. Need to know what can go wrong. We need to plan. You all have risk insurances. You all have car insurances. You all have your maybe the bank account insurances. You may all have lockers. All these things is the mitigation of the risk. Risk is something that you cannot avoid. Risk response, you need to know what kind of it. So it is 911 call. It is the emergency call. It's a health call. What all these things that we are going to plan, so that once I am executing, there is an unfortunate accident happens on the project, I know what to do. I need to plan that, okay, rain could happen. Obviously, it's a variable. We don't know when rain is going to happen. But we know if you are doing between this period of May, June, July, rain will happen. So we need to plan that mitigation, that whenever there is a cloud, what we need to do. So all these things is part of the planning process group that we are looking at. The planning process group involves defining the scope of the project, determining the actions required to achieve the project objectives, products that needs to be produced, what is the sequence of the work, estimating the resources and the effort, estimating the cost in creating the project. The outputs are project plan. We will see there are 18 documents in it. Work breakdown structure, schedulings, budgets, other subordinate plans, baselines, scope management, risk registers, procurement document. Project plan is the planning document capturing the entire project end to end. It has an overview, it has a scope, baseline, schedule, cost, quality, everything is part of the project management plan. Please understand there is a difference between project management plan and the schedule. Microsoft Project, Basecamp, Primavera, Monday.com, thousands of others, they all give you the schedule. Project plan is a very big scope. It has everything, how you are going to manage the risk, how you are going to do the quality, how you are going to hire the resources, how you are going to fire the resources, how you are going to get an approval from the project, from the sponsor, from the client, how you are going to do the correct actions, what is the cost variances. So project plan is a wide range document. It is not a schedule on the calendar. What time is it now? 11:34. Okay, so let us close our session for today at this point. And if you have any question, please, I'm here. You have the group available 24/7 posted. I will also send you the ebook.